Welcome to Masterclass Wrestling with Class. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. And now, on with the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Masterclass. It's been a while. We've been busy, but we are back. I'm one of your co-stars, the Master Emir, along with my co-star, and the second third of Delirium, ladies and gentlemen, the merciless McCallion. McCallion, it's a great day here. We got a special guest, but before we begin with our special guest, what do we need our viewers to do?
We need everyone to smash the subscribe button. You need to like this video along with all the rest that we put out and the entire video collection of the Masters of Wrestling. Go ahead, subscribe.
That's right. And while you're at it, like and share these videos. But we're going to dive right in now because as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how we were able to pull this one off, but we've somehow crossed through the barriers of time and space because as you can see right there at the top of your screen, we have our special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not Michael Jackson, but it is Santana Jackson. Santana, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Love to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate it, my friend. You caught my eye in Las Vegas. I saw you at WrestleCon, and of course, you know, my partner in crime down here, McCallion, is familiar with your work. But people are probably wondering, non-wrestling fans, they're looking at you. They're thinking this resemblance is uncanny. Did you always know that you had a resemblance to Michael Jackson, or was this something that happened later in life?
Man, I'm Puerto Rican, so I never thought I looked like anybody but me. I got John Leguizamo before. I've gotten Selena's husband when I'm normal. I had a friend. I seen a couple of other people do it, and they just blew my mind. I was like, man. And then when they took the makeup off, I was like, you don't look nothing like that. That's amazing. I was like, I can do this, But I didn't think of anything like that. I really started working on my dancing. And the singing and performing before I even, learned the makeup. Like I came to Vegas when someone taught me to face. I'm like, oh, we got to teach you how to do makeup. I was like, oh, really? Yeah. I was like, is that going to make me better? Like, oh man, it's going to make you so much better. You're going to get noticed everywhere. Like I had a mentor.
Yeah.
Another big famous MJ out here who taught me. So as soon as I learned from him, it's like, I got to do my eyes. I got to do the whole shebang. I got like completely transform, so.
Yeah.
Do my forehead,
Yeah, totally, man. Totally. But you've got some dance moves, I'll tell you that. So before a disclaimer though, McCallion, are you a Michael Jackson fan?
Yeah. I mean, not the biggest of all time, but yes, definitely. I mean, I know the music and I followed him throughout his career. He was, I think, one of the greatest pop culture icons of our growing up.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. I was actually there at one of the concerts. My mom is a huge Michael Jackson fan. So I think we were at the Bad concert back in Wembley Stadium way back when. What a showman. What a showman. So you were a fan of Michael Jackson growing up, Santana?
Absolutely. I loved Michael since I was 6 years old. I mean, I danced to his music and everything. I just didn't know what I was dancing to, but I just loved the music and I would get down to it. As soon as the music play, I can hear the beat. I mean, Billie Jean would come on. The next thing you know, I'm out there getting down. I'm a little very shy kid because I was a little heavy set when I was growing up. I think dancing helped me lose the weight. So I used to be husky little kid, so I used to get picked on for being husky. But as soon as Michael Jackson came on, man, I didn't care who I was. I was grabbing my crotch, doing a whole shebang, getting in trouble, jumping on tables. Ho! You a ho!
McCallion, did you ever get yourself one of those Thriller jackets when you were growing up?
I can't say that I got jiggy to that level, but I definitely enjoyed the music. The Thriller definitely had a big impact on Halloween. So whenever I hear that because of that music video, I always associate it with the Halloween theme. And of course, during, the Halloween season, you hear a lot of people play Thriller, not only on the radio, but throughout the neighborhood still.
Yeah. Thriller is the one, man. I used to love that video so much. Who was it? Was it John Carpenter who put that together? The director? Does anyone remember?
I'm terrible with that.
I have to fact check that one. It sounds familiar, but
yeah, because I think it's the guy who did the American Werewolf in London. I think it's the director who did.
I think you're right. And that was the crossover. That's where it became that crossover type feel.
Yeah, for sure.
champions. They're not born in the gym. It starts from the inside and it works its way out. Do you feel it more difficult to obtain muscle? Are you tired or perhaps depressed? Then there's a solution. Our brand new partner and sponsor, Care Aesthetics of La Quinta, are here to help you get restored to optimal health. Just use the contact information in this video and schedule your free consultation. Be sure to mention the name of the podcast, whether that be Power and Glory, Styling, Masterclass, or Hey Roma, when doing so. We wish you all the best in your road to optimized health. And now, back to the show.
Santana, before we get into your wrestling career, what was your favorite Michael Jackson album?
Man, I love all of Michael's music. I just love the even with his brothers, there's a lot of songs that they all sing together. Just it's all of it's really makes you groove, makes you feel some kind of way. Each song is individual, has its own style to it. One day I'm feeling down, you got a song for that. It picks you up, makes you feel happy. One day, you want to feel about something about your family, and you got this song that comes up. It's like makes you think about your family. It really brightens up your day. I mean, it's a lot of songs that I really enjoyed growing up. I mean, like Billie Jean was one of my favorites just because of the beat.
Yeah,
the beat was always really catchy for me. But like, I loved all his music. I mean, there wasn't an album I didn't like.
Yeah,
unless only the album he didn't like. So.
Now, you mentioned something there. You mentioned about family and feeling good and stuff like that. And you confided in me in Las Vegas, and you told me a little bit about your story there. I want to dig into it here. You did mention you were homeless when you were growing up, or at one point. So tell us a little bit about that, as much as you can, without, if it's too much for you, you don't have to go into it, but just, give us how did you get in that situation? How did you get yourself out of it?
So I got two kids. And I had child support payments, and I had to, I was trying to find work, and work was kind of scarce in Florida for me. So I was doing a lot of different on-end jobs, and I was doing Michael stuff on the beach. And a friend of mine saw me on the beach, was like, "Hey, you're really good. You could really make some good money and get your life on track if you go to Vegas and perform and do stuff like that." So I took it on me, and I flew out there. They flew me out, and they got me in a hotel for a week, and then from there on, they took off, and it was up to me to figure out what to do, because I didn't want to go back home yet. I was like, you know what? I did make some money within a few days of being there, and all I did was dance. I didn't just stand around. I couldn't. A lot of guys I see standing around taking pictures, that's cool, but I was learning from people. I walk around picking up what all these different entertainers were doing, and how they were drawing their crowd, how would they get the reaction from the people, and I slowly started working my way doing that. I mean, I was homeless for a while, so I was like just working off of tips and donations all day. So I mean, I go out there from the moment I woke up, probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting ready, and I'm out there from noon to 3 o'clock in the morning. So, and trying to make $100, $50, whatever, because I was trying to get to these apartments that were a weekly apartments that you have to pay weekly. So I was trying to get that enough money to start doing that. But it took a while, and I was doing charity events, started doing hospitals and stuff like that. And that helped me get my name out there so I get more work. So entertainment companies were calling me. So I was working for these people and these people and these people, doing corporate events, side events. And then I met a Michael who taught me the makeup and kind of helped me get a little better and better. And as I got the makeup on is when I started getting into an apartment. I started being able to hold a single suite, a studio apartment. Every week was weekly was $500-600 a week, or maybe 800, and I was like, man, I gotta make that off the strip. So I'll go on the strip to make the money so I can pay for things and get things caught up, and take care of my kids and make sure they had money before I take care of myself. And I just pretty much started from the bottom, working my way up really hard. Not really known by a lot of people. A lot of Michaels were out there at the time, so a lot of them gave me issues because they're like, "Oh, you're trying to take my spot." It's enough spots out here in Vegas for us to perform without bumping into. So I went up getting along with a lot of people out there, and everyone got cool with me because I was like, I'm not here to stomp on toes. I'm just here to make a living, and become something than what I am.
Sounds a lot like the wrestling business, doesn't it, McCallion?
Yeah. It's close to home.
take people's spots. How old were you at the time, Santana?
26.
All right, so you're 26. Yeah, okay.
26 when I got out there, and I was just busting butt every day, literally doing as much things as I could till I got discovered by the show.
Yeah.
And the other Michael in the show, he was like, "Hey, I'm working 7 days a week. You want to work a few days? Because I will go to the show a lot." And they noticed me, and they always give me a shout out. "Oh, we got Santana Jackson in the house. Santana's here from the strip. Go check him out. He's a real cool guy." I was cool with him at the time. We're bumping heads now, but it was cool at the time.
As it happens. Yeah.
It happens when you get better.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
don't like it.
But at the same time, though, you did have a dream. You loved pro wrestling, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
this was, and you mentioned to me off camera, but you wanted to start wrestling first before all this happened. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I even went to when I finally got signed up by the MJ Live show. That's when my little brother he moved out here and started staying with me because I could, I was making okay money and I was able to take care of him as well. And he discovered FSW, which is the Future Stars of Wrestling. And I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "There's wrestling classes." Now I'm stupid because I never knew there was wrestling classes. I'd have been wrestling classes since I was 20. I would have been as 18 if I knew about this, but I didn't know. No one really shared this with me. So I was like, I didn't know you can go to classes and train and learn and do this. I just thought, they had their special people, special stuff to do. I didn't know nothing about it.
Right, right.
My brother introduced me to it, so I went there. We started training, and they found out I was the Michael for the show. So I told him I can only do so much. I can't get too beat up because I still got to perform the next day. I mean, I'll do some cool shit, but I can't. Don't be trying to put me through a table today. Tomorrow I got to dance on stage for an hour and a half.
Right, right. Yeah.
And no, they said, "Hey, you should try it out one day as Michael." And literally, I put on the makeup. I was at the show. I was supposed to be taking on this fake Drake, and a fake Eminem. They're like this buff Eminem and buff Drake, and I'm just like, okay. And it was just like a quick little segment, really. And then I had these two big guys come out and help me.
Yeah.
But it was just like nerve-wracking for me because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to come out there as Michael. I gotta come up with a move. I gotta do something that looks cool, but I don't want to really make Michael look bad at the same time.
Right.
Meanwhile, now I'm throwing babies off the balcony. It's yeah. But yeah, it was like I was doing my best there. I get in a ring and like moonwalk DDT. I've been practicing that for like a week before because I knew it was coming up. That I'm about to do something.
Yeah.
So I've been practicing, trying to figure out a move. Like, okay, moonwalk DDT, that should work. Whatever.
Yeah.
I did it. Boom. My son was there because he was visiting, so he was in the crowd behind watching. Then I hit the elbow, which is a lot cleaner now. I promise, it's so much cleaner now. You see, the first time I did it, I was still like, "Oh my goodness, what am I doing?" But after that, just like it kind of took off, and everyone was like, "Oh man, this Michael Jackson wrestles." Michael Jackson. I'm like, I kind of just wanted to wrestle as me because it wasn't like it was supposed to be just a Puerto Rican Michael Jackson character. Like I keep Michael Jackson's style, but I'm still me. I'm the Puerto Rican Italian guy from Brooklyn, New York. I know there's a lot of Santanas out there because there's another Santana out there. So I'm like, man, I'm about to change my name to something else. But that's my real name. I was like, man, I'm about to go by Antonio,
Yeah.
But like it just popped off, and Michael Jackson, Santana Jackson became this next level of stuff.
Now you mentioned though the DDT there, and of course we know who was famous for developing the DDT, or at least executing it, and that was Jake the Snake. So tell us about some of your trainers in the business.
I mean, I had some amazing trainers. Like you go from Sin Bodhi to Jake the Snake was one of my trainers for of course, the DDT. I had to learn the DDT from someone, and he was the one to teach it to me. So that was really cool. Like he told me do it, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna clean that up. We're gonna do it like this. You're gonna do it." I'm like, "I got you. You know how to take it. I know how to take. No, yeah, I think I know how to take it." He's like, "Well, this is how you do. You drop down like a push up." I said, "Okay." And we're standing on concrete, and he's like, "No, go ahead, do it right now. I'll just drop down. Yeah, drop low as you can, like for a push up." Didn't tell me to turn my head. I dropped down. I smacked my chin on that floor so hard, and he's chuckling. He is chuckling at me because he tells me last minute, "Oh yeah, turn your head." "Oh yeah, thank you." It's all right. I'm good. I'm not bleeding, right? No, I'm good. No, it's good. It's fine. I hurt the whole night. My jaw hurt, but I was like, I learned a lesson. Then you had D'Lo Brown teaching us. That was another amazing, teacher. You had Cutthroat Cody. I can't cut him out because he was an amazing teacher too. He taught me so much stuff from the beginning, from when I started. Like I didn't know anything about wrestling, so he like really taught it to me. It really showed me the ropes and how to act, how to be, a wrestler. Basically, how to really turn it up from being just normal guy who's trying to be all nice and sweet to come on,
Now you mentioned about character, and this is something that McCallion and I are hot on. we do appreciate character. And McCallan, I want to kick it to you now because you got very excited when we talked about character today. So I'm going to let you take over this segment of the interview here and talk about Santana's character for a bit.
Okay, well, let me touch on the fact that he already dropped the DDT. So the incorporation, I think the cool part is if no one has ever seen Santana before, right away when you see him in character right now, you can automatically, your head will go to a place knowing Michael Jackson, at least at our age, maybe the kids, it's a little different, but your head's going to go to all the actions, the movements that Michael Jackson was a part of. I think when someone embodies, they pick a certain character, whether you're like a dinosaur or you're a vampire, whatever. Right away, your mind kind of goes to all of the bookmarks you've made throughout life of seeing that specific character. So I think it's cool with Santana, with him embodying the and finding, hey, I already do Michael, although it wasn't, I kind of wanted to be me. Michael has a lot to play on as a character in the wrestling world because we all know that wrestling is entirely, a character-based act. Let's just put it that way. Everybody will learn these same moves, but the execution that each person does it, like you said, you didn't turn your head for the DDT, you ate it on the chin. There's some people that spike on DDTs, there's some people that roll on DDTs. Everybody, although we do the same moves, everyone takes stuff differently. I think Michael is very interesting to me because him being such a pop culture icon, he had so many pow, boom, bang movements just as a dancer, as a music, as someone who's a musician, that usually you don't get that out of like a TV host or, a newscaster. So you have a lot to work with, I'm sure, as you understood wrestling more from the development side of it and developing your skills. You were like, hey, wait a minute. I can throw my hand up and then come back down with the slap. I can do these different movements that Michael did and incorporate it with a wrestling move. You just have to think psychology, what makes sense. So now I'll pass it off to Santana to see like what you have developed with time with Michael's movements into pro wrestling.
Oh man, it took a while, but like studying a lot of Michael moves, Michael's spins, like I incorporated Michael's spins into a spinning clothesline now. So it's like I'll duck somebody to hit the ropes. I'm doing a spin, catch him line. That's a Michael Jackson move, and I'll probably hit a little dance step. My elbow, I give it a little credit to The Rock, but also Michael. So it's like I set up for The Rock was set up for his elbow, but I'll dance across their body while my legs split going across halfway, hit the ropes, big spin because this is a thriller elbow. I do the whole thriller spot, jump in the air, drop the thriller, sit up, get the crowd hype, excited. Then I started incorporating my wolf mask. So it's like I turn into a wolf after you kind of beat on me a little bit. I get so pissed off, I go underneath the ring. Now thriller up, thriller plays. Everyone's like, oh shit, thriller's playing. I come crawling out of the ring. Wolf.
There it is.
There it is.
Fang. I call him Fang. I come crawling, screaming,
really
yelling, all that. I feel like with that, I turn into a completely different person too. Because with him, when I turn into Fang, it's like I'm a whole different wrestler now. Now I'm more aggressive. Here comes some spears, here comes a line, here comes my main event stuff,
Yeah.
But as Michael, when I'm just myself, I feel like I gotta be more of a dancing character. Like during the test of strength, I'm making you do beat it with me. Now you get mad, you can't catch my hands, crotch grab, you get pissed off, the crowd loves it.
Awesome.
I got the top rope thing, like the beat it rope walk, that's what I call it. I'll grab the hand, chop and chop, get up top, and I'll start walking the rope, doing beat it, the hands to the side, back up, little moonwalk, come back to the middle, crotch grab to their face, like what the arm drag or hurricanrana, I turn it to head scissors or now a tornado or like a tornado, just elbow.
How about we get you to do, I don't know if you already do it, 5-star frog splash, the Jackson 5-star frog splash.
The Jackson
5-star frog
The
splash.
Jackson 5-star.
Yeah. You change the motion of it. You change the motion and then you hit it.
Yeah, I just go,
Yeah.
Now you mentioned your kids there. Are your kids now, are they watching you perform these days? Are they with you in Vegas?
My oldest is 18, so they're both from Florida.
Okay.
My youngest is 11, so two different moms, but they keep in touch with me. I kind of play video games with them, do this video chats with them constantly. My youngest, Fortnite, we play Fortnite together, so yeah, you might see me on Fortnite yelling at a couple of your kids. damn you kids.
But you
Um,
also you are performing in Vegas weekly though. So where are you performing exactly in Vegas?
so I work at the Harris at Las Vegas Strip. So I literally share the same room with Donnie Osmond. So me and Donnie
That's
share the same.
cool.
Like if I'm performing, he's up next. So and
Yeah.
I got to run into him a couple of times. Really cool guy.
Yeah.
And but like yeah, I get to share with him. It's been like Carlos Mencia's been there. It's a real nice showroom. The
Yeah.
light, the lighting behind us is amazing. The crew there was great. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a whole different show. Like we've been to Sahara, we've been to Stratosphere, Tropicana before they closed the Tropicana, and
Yeah.
now we're here at Harris, and it's been a fun show.
I
Cool
mean,
crowds.
I've seen some of your stuff online. McCallan, have you seen his full dance routines online? Have you ever seen like
I have. It's funny. We were talking briefly before, but I'll put it on here. Is with between I'll say between three people, but it's Santana Jackson, Human Tornado, and Jay Lethal when he was the Black Machismo. I got to tell Jay 2 months ago when we got to work Jay in Ring of Honor. I said Jay, same thing I told Santana. It's funny, because you have people that know that you're a wrestler or that you're into wrestling, and that gets them excited. They're not into wrestling, they're just like, oh, they hear about it, but they never got into it. They're not a fan. But when they see something, you trigger in their head because they know your love of it and they've seen it throughout the years. So I always get the non-wrestling fans sending me the three most, sent clips is either Santana doing the moonwalk DDT, Human Tornado doing his kick combo in the corner, or Black Machismo doing his like woo off with Ric Flair.
yeah.
And legit, it's always those three. And they're like, look at this. Have you ever seen this? And I'm like, I have. I know the guy. He's really cool, like just like that. So, yes, I've seen a lot of his stuff. I know that we have done shows. I feel like that we've been on the same card too, although sometimes that's hard to watch somebody when you're on the same card.
Oh yes,
But you hear the ovation of the crowd. That's the big part. So, even if you didn't get to see it, you look out there, who was that? And you're, oh, okay, makes sense, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for
and it's
sure.
so hard to be on a card with these guys, because these guys are so buff and swole. I'm over here walking around like me, looking like
No,
Mike.
it's a whole different character, brother.
I
You got
swear,
that one
if
side
people
covered. We'll try to cover the other side.
when people look at me and they go, "Oh, you a wrestler?" They do this. Oh, I don't think you can wrestle. I'm like, are you kidding me? Have you seen Rey Mysterio when he started?
Right, right.
Dude, I know. You know what's funny with the Ray thing is like I always got because of the height. I always get a lot of people go, "Oh man, well Ray did it. You can too." And then doing SmackDown and Raw throughout the years is an extra enhancement talent. And you get to be near Ray, and no offense to Ray, I mean Ray's such a legend, but he's a smaller guy. He's a smaller guy, but very stout, but
Yeah,
short. And I said to myself, man, it kind of hurts in a way when the people throw something they don't even know. They don't know, but they
yeah,
throw something at you, regardless whether it's weight related or height related. And I'm like, you have no idea. If you went and tried this and you were good at it within a day, kind of like a Logan Paul, but if you were good at it within a day and you said, wow, you do this, okay, okay, okay. But you've never tried it a day in your life, but you are an expert behind the scenes, because you think you know someone's height or, but like, hey, just enjoy what the act is, take a chance, check it out, and then, drop your opinion.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there were cruiserweights before.
That's the other thing. The cruiserweight. I mean, we've been around a lot of these guys, Juventud Guerrera, even Chris Jericho. These
Yeah,
guys, not to take anything away from any of them, but they're not everyone's Kevin Nash. Not everyone is Drew McIntyre. So it's like you have different thresholds of superstars, and everyone is entertaining. So you're there to entertain people. Don't try to come at me for what I can't change.
yeah,
Just enjoy what I'm giving you.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said about that. McCallie, you and I have talked about this quite a bit. I've seen comments in the podcast, I've seen stuff online. There is this, people are talking now about the characters again because, we've strayed so far away from characters for the past 10 years. It's,
Yeah,
as McCallie, you and I have talked about here, it's just somebody trying to get a 5-star match. Well, that 5-star match, if that doesn't possess a good character in it, that'll be forgotten in 20 years. No one's buying the action figure. So again, there is a place, like you were saying, McCallie, there's a place for every size as long as the character is viable, like a character like this.
And one thing I always and I've never shared the same locker room with him, but I've always respected his work incredibly. But you look at someone like the Boogeyman, Marty Wright,
Oh yeah.
okay? And he came in untrained, but he loved the sport, and he came in on a it was I think Tough Enough or whatever it
Yep.
was, to try it out. And he lied about his age or whatever. But the fact was he was in tremendous shape and he had heart.
Mhm.
So they took him, even though he didn't, tell the truth, they took him and gave him a developmental contract. Although he never picked up the business like lickety split like some people do, probably because of his age and limited mobility with him being that jacked. His character, to all the main eventers or mid card or low card guys on the show, his character stood out. And you always have Boogeyman redrop in, and he's still in that same dang shape all these years later. But he was such a commodity to wrestling, and I feel like with that, if you can be something like that, there's always a way that they can protect you, to intervene you, like to get you back in and protect what your good strengths are and hide what you're just not quite, what you're lacking.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. We're just waiting for Santana to come back there. His feed went out a little bit, McCallion, so we'll keep it going here.
I think he's doing a song break. I think he just went into song and it was a paid session. Did you just leave to do a song for a second that was
Yeah.
paid?
See, Tito called me and I had to tell him, I'm on the phone right
That's
now.
what I
Take care of the
think
monkey
it was
because
family
Bubbles
related.
be
That's
acting up.
fair.
Speaking of the boogeyman and everything, I see an extensive collection behind you of similar-esque characters. I see the Predator up there. I see
See
the Freddy Krueger.
Wolverine.
Yeah,
We got
Wolverine. Joker, is
Michael
that in
Myers.
the
Is that
corner?
That's the Joker over there with the.
Yeah. So I take it you're into all this stuff.
Oh man, am I?
Darn.
Oh, the full life size Green Ranger. That's cool.
He's
Wow,
holding actually the belt that just got signed by Ric Flair, so that was pretty
Wow,
cool.
that's cool.
darn, yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say, so Santana, you've been around some of the top guys. You've been around Ric Flair. You've been certain places. Have you ever had a direct invite from like an AEW or a TNA, WWE?
I mean, like Sabu is like my uncle. So the day he got when he was on AEW for his match with Jericho,
Hmm.
I was there, so I got to be backstage with him. He told me to come pretty much as his Michael Jackson security because
Right.
at that point I had that video go out where I choked that guy out on the strip. And
Okay.
so he's like, "Oh, definitely gonna have you walk around with me as MJ security." So I was like, my security vest on, Michael Jackson walking around with Sabu, just as his bodyguard, pretty much. And
Is
I
he
got to
is
meet like
he is he your legit uncle, or you just
I,
say,
he's like my uncle. Yeah, I call him my family because
okay,
we kind of clicked,
He took you in. Yeah, that's cool.
that's
yeah.
cool.
So and he's
That's
always he's great for advice, always teaching me something new and how to do some. Like I do some moves in my repertoire representing him. Like even when I do this, it's a homage to him when I kind of throw the one hand up. That's
yeah.
me doing a
That's
Michael
dope.
thing, but it's also a Sabu thing. So not a lot of people know that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And speaking of your size and stuff though, because one of the things that I always think about is in terms of body pain from this business, because you are a lighter guy.
Oh
So
yeah.
how do you deal with that? Do you have a workout regime? Do you do stretching, yoga? How do you deal with the bumps? Because then you're also on stage dancing, the night away, as it were. So I mean, how do you manage the body?
People are surprised because for my size, I'm a lot stronger than I look.
Mhm.
I do work out. I have punching bags. I do a lot of boxing and jujitsu stuff, and so I'm always training, doing something like that. Or of course, from wrestling, I got my own wrestling ring. I got an 18 by 18, so
Oh,
I literally bought a ring so I could train, become
yeah,
better, and come up with more moves and
yeah,
more things to really wow the crowd.
yeah.
And
That was the one
um,
me and Slave were just in, wasn't it? We were in your rented ring. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, that was the show you did,
Yeah. The
the Nerf
midnight
bar.
show. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
for
okay, all
TJ
right.
for the yeah.
yeah, that day was crazy for me. I had two shows and a wedding.
Dude, yeah, that was yeah, you were booked up, man. You were and you didn't even need to be MJ for those.
But what a success story, though, Santana. I mean, come on. I mean, from the streets, yeah, going to a place that you never grew up in, Las Vegas. Here we are, but what, a decade later, if that,
Yeah.
and now you've got all this stuff. You're working consistently. But what is the dream for you? If you were your ultimate dream, what would it be, Santana?
I mean, I'd love to make it on, TV, to be able to wrestle and show the world what I can do. And entertain the masses out there and, bring some smiles to people that don't have a smile every now and then. So, WWE, AEW, it'd be great. I mean, I would love to travel. So I'm working on a passport. I do want to go to Japan. I hear a lot of people calling me in Japan, and that's kind of my goal right now is to make it out there. And, in the future, I would love to run my own wrestling show, my
Mhm.
own company, and, bring in for everything I learned from this. I feel like I'll be able to put a pretty cool show together with stories, with something to really captivate the crowd, the people, and make them feel like they're part of it. Like, when I grew up, we used
Yeah.
to watch a lot of wrestling that made you feel like you was there, you're part of it, you understand, you feel in their heart, when Edge and Lita was going through something with Matt Hardy, and yeah, all like you knew you've been in that situation. So it's like those are situations I remembered and missed
Yeah.
and loved how much it really got me. And I would love to, bring that back one day,
That would
maybe
be
in
very
the future. Yeah.
that would be
I
very
think you're on your way. I mean, I'm just saying I don't, but like with already taking the initiative to own a ring and rent that out and to do business on that level, that's literally the first steps, to it. This is life is a slow climb unless
Oh,
you're
yeah.
given everything, silver spooned it, which some are, and that's great. The rest of us have to work really hard, and you're taking those initial steps. You started at ground zero, sounds like, and you've worked your way up. You could have quit. You didn't quit. You instead you saw your goal and you're aiming towards it, and still now you're still climbing. So very noble to hear that, and know that about you.
And even now, like when my days off and I'm not busy, I still go back to the strip. I still go make the extra money. That's what helps afford to fix my ring up or get new pieces, or like I'm looking to get a truck, get a big old trailer so I can put the ring in, be easy to transport it instead of renting a U-Haul. So yeah, like I'm pushing every day. Like, and I'll give you guys a quick little story here. I'll show you something. This
okay.
is how I actually started.
Okay.
So yeah, let's see if I can flip this around. I think I can. Sorry, I'm just learning all this.
Yeah.
There it is. All right. So this is how I started when I was on the strip. This is a sign I had when I was homeless.
Whoa.
So
Oh,
this is my homeless sign. I kept it, put it
okay.
in the frame. So I always remember
That's
from when I
awesome,
started, right?
man.
And
Yeah.
then kind of works my way up, showing when I started getting part of a show, started really taking it in. My dad coming out here to see me perform.
Yeah.
Um, get a lot of fans. I met Michael Jackson's clothing designer, Michael Bush, so he signed that for me.
Okay.
Then I slowly started studying every movie, every DVD. I got VHS. I got, Dangerous VHS. I got the Moonwalker movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
Good one.
yeah, every concert he's ever did, and slowly build my way up to. I got my mentor who taught me how to be the next, Michael.
Okay.
Before he passed away, this guy here, I knew him for 4 years before he passed away. So I keep his glove right there, and I keep his
Wow.
medallion right here, so it's always close to my heart. And
Okay.
then slowly I got noticed by the show, became the headliner for the MJ Live show.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Yeah.
then,
This is a true testament, man, to like a life shrine.
Yep.
I've started from the bottom, literally on the bottom shelf, and then worked way up.
Yeah. That's an incredible
Yeah.
and
yeah,
what's refreshing, McCallion and Santana is that he kept it. That he kept that's a reminder, just in case things get too big or anything, you always remember where you came from.
And it
always,
shows how much it meant to you
Yeah.
to have those core memories
Yeah.
and collect that. That's really noble.
yeah,
That's
like when people ask me about it, how was it being like homeless? Like, I had to sleep in different places. I had to gather money to get a hotel or, stay in the street for the few nights, whatever. But, I did what I had to do because I knew there was something behind. I feel like I have a talent that no one's discovered yet. And
Mhm.
I'm not able to show it or don't know the right people to present it to. So I just kept pushing and hopefully someone would see that
Yeah.
and snatch me up. So
No,
that's awesome,
it's
man.
an admirable story. So what would you just tell somebody right now? Because if somebody is watching this or watches this in a year or 5 years from now and they're going through hard times, what would the advice be from Santana Jackson to that person?
I mean, we all go through some tough times and we all go through the craziest times. Some things people won't ever believe, but it's how you come out of it. It's how you keep your mindset through it all. Yes, I'm hungry today, but maybe not tomorrow. Maybe I can get better tomorrow. Maybe I can get some food tomorrow. Maybe I can, get a job tomorrow. Maybe something else can work out. It's always having that hope because tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow could be a better day. Today could be a shitty day. We can have the worst things ever happen. Like my car is stuck up the street right now. Am I upset about it? No, I'll go down there later, mess with it, fix it, and bring it back home. Why? Because, things could be a lot worse, So it's like, just, take
Yeah.
it with a grain of salt, keep pushing. Nothing's ever going to stop you. The only thing that's going to stop you from being great is you. There's no one else in your way but yourself. The only person that can stop you is the person you look in the mirror, like Michael said, the man in the mirror, right? So you
Yeah.
got to change that person and change yourself and become a better person. And
It's true. It's
Very
true.
strong. Yeah, very
You
strong.
mentioned that about Michael. Some of those lyrics right there, the man in the mirror, some of those lyrics were really special when Michael sang back in the day. I always, when the scandals broke and everything else, I never wanted to believe it. I never believed it because I just think that when people are riding high and they're at the top and they maybe know too much about a certain industry, people try and chop them down. This happens in Hollywood.
That's what in hindsight, not to touch on too deep into that, but that's what you really look at. You look at there was other people.
Okay, yeah. So we were talking about there before our technical interruption there about the scandal, and we briefly went over that. Sometimes in life, when you get so high, people are willing to knock you down, and I think that was the case with Michael. I think he was generally a good soul, and it looks like you've taken after him on that one. One of the things you mentioned to me in Vegas was about making people smile and preserving youth, preserving a childlike nature in all of us. Is that something you've always had, or did that become more developed when you started diving into the Michael Jackson character?
I mean, growing up, I've always been that way. I've always been like the protector of the younger people, the smaller people. I always try to be that hero. I mean, that's how I kind of, look at myself. I want to be a hero when I grow up, and not no villain, not no bad guy. I want to be the people that's here, the guy who's here to save the day, to help you out, do what I can.
Yeah.
And I've always
Bodyguard for
carried.
Sabu. That explains it.
I
There you
mean,
go.
like Captain Planet. That was me. That's the
That's
cartoons,
it.
like Power Rangers and stuff. Like I grew up with these type of stuff. So it's
Hear
like
that.
I
Yeah.
wanted to be that good guy. I wanted to be that rescue ranger. I wanted to be them guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's how I carried myself forever. I mean, as Michael, it was fun, but like I used to do charity events and stuff like that. That's what really helped
Okay.
me see what I like. Really open up. I did hospitals, walking around doing magic for the kids. A lot of kids couldn't see me do the dance moves, so I literally picked up magic. I walk around doing coin tricks, things vanishing, reappearing, sand, water, whatever it was. I'll do card tricks for them.
Yeah.
I was Magic Mike, just not that one. So I do a lot of charities. I used to go to play baseball with the special need guys. I'll go out there and run around with them as their partner.
Mhm.
We'll play baseball, boom, and we'll moonwalk home at this guy in his wheelchair. He backed up in his wheelchair, and I start moonwalk, so we moonwalked all the way home. So that
Yeah.
was like
That's
a cool
awesome.
memory.
Yeah.
I went to the hospital for this little girl. She was in bed, really sick, and she was a big Michael fan. So I came like gifts, merchandise. I was gonna give her all types of cool stuff. I
Mhm.
pop in, she sees me and shines up right away. I jumped into bed with her, laying right next to her in the hospital bed, and just chatting with her and sang a little song for her, a little performance for her, and then that and it makes me feel good to do that. I mean, I got paid for that any of that stuff, but it changed that little girl's day, made her feel better. Like whatever she had going on at that moment, she forgot all about it. She was
Yeah.
just super happy to see me, super happy to interact, get all those gifts.
Yeah.
And every time I would do something like that, like I go to St. Jude's Ranch, these kids they're taken away from their parents and stuff like that. I go and perform, do like a full concert for these kids.
Mhm.
And they gave me a plaque, like, the students all made a little plaque for me,
Mhm.
thanking me for coming. And I'll do it every year. I'll show up, perform, do something for them.
Yeah.
Win-Win Entertainment, a nonprofit organization. Those are the ones I work with the special need guys. And I do their Christmas event almost every year. Like there's a silhouette. All of a sudden, everyone knows it's me. The kids are running to the front of the stage. They're singing, they're dancing. I got them all on the stage with me. Now we're all singing and dancing together. Like I make it into a party. So,
Yeah.
um, but that feels so good to me. Like it fills me up with something else more than like I'm not worried about getting paid for this. I'm not. It was more. It was more than that. It was like I'm changing someone else's world. I'm changing someone else's life. I'm opening. I'm giving them a light so they can shine and be bright and showing them what they got in this world. Like if I can do it, I know they can do it. So.
Yeah, and I agree, and I hear with you on that one. I mean, with us, definitely the kids seem to be on our side, which is our goal.
Oh yeah.
Ultimately, we're changing society in the future. Delirium. The adults, we don't really care about them as much, but the
Just their
reality,
money.
Does
yeah,
that, I was waiting for that part. I was waiting
You
for that.
know, The kids don't have much, and I'm not trying to take from them, but the parents give us your money. Like
there
I
you
mean,
go.
for the children,
Yeah,
you
you
know.
want your kid to have that T-shirt, right?
Yeah.
You want
There
this
you go.
hat?
Or 8x10s,
Yeah.
like, hey.
Yes. Or our
I signed for
activity.
heads. Yeah, $10.
But at the base of it all, though, you couldn't have said it better. And I think anybody who does, he reminds me of Slade McCallion so much here when he said that. But anybody who does want to get into that industry or any industry like that, they should have their heart postured in that direction because at the end of the day, we were kids growing up watching these guys, and some of these guys, little do they know the influence they had. Not to say they're the be all and end all, they're not God, right? But they just gave us
That
something,
spark.
just a little spark or a little bit of, maybe we were having a bad day, maybe our parents were arguing, going through a divorce, whatever. We switched on the TV, there they were. And they gave, and like you said, the ones that then gave back. Paul Roma, our fellow teammate here on the Masters of Wrestling, he talks often about giving back and going to charity events and working for St. Jude's and things like that. That's what it's all about, man. And a lot of these guys forget that. So it's really cool to hear you've done so much good. And that's, God bless you for that, brother. God
Very
bless.
true, very true heart of yours.
Yeah.
Very true heart.
I
Yeah.
just like to see people happy. I like to make people happy. That's kind of my thing. I like to see people smile. And that's me. I hate to have someone mad, upset because I did something I did. I was like, no, we're gonna fix that right now.
Yeah.
Bring a Kool-Aid smile to your face today.
So before we start winding this one down, Santana, who was your favorite? Who was your go-to guy growing up in the wrestling business? Who were you a fan of? Who was your biggest superstar, if you like? The Rock.
I think he's giving us a hint.
The Rock.
You can smell what the Santana Jackson is cooking. Look, I used to love The Rock, and then not even before he was a Rock, when he had the curly hair and the blue tights, my Via, you know what I'm saying? That
Oh
was The
yeah,
Rock.
my Via, yeah.
Yeah, that was The Rock I used to like. I was like, oh man, because I had the same hairstyle. So I was like, yo, we had the same hair. That's me. So then Eddie Guerrero was another one. Like I had Eddie, I had and I just loved his the way he acted in the ring. He made me smile, he made me laugh, he made me cry, he make you feel like something, and Eddie was so good at that. And The Rock too. The Rock was great with the mic skills, the singing, the messing around, and these guys, I love these guys. These are the guys I really looked up to.
Hey, that Eddie Guerrero versus Rock match on Raw, that was a killer, man.
Oh man,
that reversal of the Rock bottom with the arm drag. Oh, yeah, that was wonderful.
And who else would think of something like that? But
Yeah, I
Eddie,
know, wild.
that was all lucha. I love that time. That's the wrestling I miss. That's what I'm saying. Wrestling now is great, but it's nothing like the way I was growing up. The wrestling I used to see.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll all be a part of bringing that back, and that's the thing. I think the rumblings are there. Like I said, you always just look on the internet now, you hear these guys talking. In fact, McCallion, I'll tell you off camera, I talked to one of our guys from Championship today, and he was saying the same thing, character. Where are all the characters? We were at an event. I'm not going to drop names, but we were at an event last week, Santana, and my wife watched it. She was in the crowd. We weren't performing at that event, but she said to me, where are all the characters? I couldn't connect with any of the show. It was boring. That was her exact words. She said she was more entertained by an indie show than what she saw. So,
because nowadays everyone's more like trying to show off a trick or do something like that, and not really bring character to the person they are. They just want to do these high flying moves, just big power moves, and try to get the reactions from that. But it's more to that nowadays. It seems like you have to really bring something.
And it's weird too because I know for a fact that a lot of these top companies, they're looking to sign the.
Due to technical difficulties, this episode will resume next month. We apologize on behalf of the Masters of Wrestling. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We'll see you again soon.